Welcome to the program. We begin our news coverage now. KANU party has now come out to condemn the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission for the manner in which the commission conducted the recent Kericho by-election. The party's Secretary General Nick Salat, who was flanked by the party's chairman Baringo Senator Gideon Moy, claimed that the IEBC had already been compromised in order to save face and avoid embarrassing Deputy President William Ruto, who is perceived to be the political kingpin of Rift Valley region. The party insisted that the candidate, Paul Sang, was overwhelmingly voted for by the people, only for the IEBC to collude with the agents of Jubilee to rig against their victory. The party members who addressed the media at the party headquarters in Nairobi, however, indicated that they are still consulting with their lawyers as they leave all their legal options open. JAP's candidate Aaron Cheriot was declared the winner with 109,358 votes, while Sang came second with 56,307 votes in the hotly contested election.
Okay, members of the press, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for coming. Apologies for being late. There's some housekeeping matters which we needed to address. But Karibu to KANU headquarters. The purpose of this press conference is to let the Kenyans and especially the people of Kericho know exactly KANU's position to what transpired on March 7th, the by-election. So experts will be letting you and telling you exactly what happened. But for me, specifically as the chair, is to thank the voters and the people of Kericho County for a very warm welcome, support, and encouragement that they gave us during the campaign rallies and the campaign times there. We were extremely humbled by the massive support that they showed us and the massive goodwill that was bestowed upon ourselves. What transpired, unfortunately, was a total farce, mockery of the democratic process, where it reached a situation where the IEBC was completely compromised, and what emerged was not a true picture or a true reflection of the wishes of the great people of Kericho County. So I'm not going to dwell into that. I'll let others say that. Mine is just to thank profusely the people of Kericho and to tell them that we've got a program coming up in the next 10 days or so when we'll be going now to Kericho with the whole team to thank them for what they did and to let them know that in spite of what happened, we are still together and we appreciate their support and their commitment. The other members who are with us and their constituencies, they're with us in spirit. But unfortunately, they've been caught up with some constituency matters, but they're together with us and will be with us when we go back to Kericho. To the KANU supporters all over the Republic, it's not to be disheartened, and one should not be, because victory was yours. But we are now emboldened, we are now ready to face the next task. We are now going to prepare ourselves, and I urge you to absolutely be ready, be vigilant, to be ready for the 2017 national general elections. We don't have much time, but we have the people with us. KANU will field candidates in the Rift Valley and all over in every single sector. So to our supporters again, thank you. To our supporters of Kericho, thank you. To the supporters of the Republic and the diaspora, thank you for the support. Thank you for all that you did for us, whether it's moral, material, and spiritual praise that you gave us. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we are humbled in what you did. We had been given at a 1%, and from 1% to 40, I think they deserve a pat on their backs, and yet it's a cooked 40, so to speak, in what they did. So I'll leave it there, and thank you again, members of the Fourth Estate, for coming on a Sunday when I think usually people are with their families. I thank you very much, and now I'll leave it to the Secretary General to take it up from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Do I move these things or? Huh?
So let's
Please. Okay.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mine is to read this statement, which was compiled by the team, the campaign team, some of who are with us, some who remain behind in Kericho. And the statement I'm reading is a statement on the verdict of the just concluded by-election in Kericho County. Thank you very much. So I'll read. On March 7th, 2016, the people of Kericho came out to exercise their democratic right of electing their senator. However, contrary to their expectations and to the dismay of the entire country, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, deliberately abdicated its duty and failed to oversee the exercise to ensure it was free, fair, and transparent, as is required by the Constitution of Kenya and the Elections Act. We have since established on expert authority that the Kericho by-elections results were manipulated to favor the JAB candidate against his KANU opponent. The most incriminating evidence that points to manipulation of results is a mathematical formula which we have cracked with the help of our statisticians who have been studying the pattern of results as they were being transmitted live. A geometric progression formula was used by JAB to generate data through a computer program so that at any given time during the tallying exercise, the JAB candidate's votes were constantly double those of our KANU candidate. In essence, what those who manipulated the results did amounted to a controlled experiment such that for every genuine vote that the KANU candidate received, the manipulation system awarded the JAB candidate 1.5 votes. Cumulatively, the thousands of half votes that the system awarded the JAB candidate would be added up to make a round figure of full votes, thus bringing about the 358,000 votes that the JAB candidate was announced to have received and declared the winner. Now, all of us know that there are no half votes in real life, but this is only possible in a computer-aided data generation through a geometric progression and sequencing. The table that we have in this statement, which I believe you will also be allowed to interrogate using your own experts in your own media houses, statisticians if you have, will help in arriving at the conclusion that we have. And furthermore, we have one of us here who we are allowed to sit with the experts. So for questions relating to this particular table, we will receive, but we also allow you to use your own expert to interrogate. So the table below, generated from live transmission on TV stations, gives a clear picture of the way the formula was applied to ensure the Jubilee candidate won the election by a predetermined margin. This table indicates from the word go, from 6:17 p.m. when the first transmission was aired live, to 10:13 p.m. when the last transmission and the conclusive verdict was given on the Kericho vote. So that table will take you through where the alleged candidate Aaron Cheruyot and our candidate Paul Sang, and the polling centers that were transmitted right from 6:17 p.m. and we have what we call variance and ratios, which will be explained further by one of us who sat with the experts. The import of this formula is that certain amount of votes fairly generated by the KANU candidate were migrated through the formula to the JAB candidate, thereby giving him an overwhelming numbers against the KANU candidate in an obviously fraudulent manner. In our scrutiny, we observed that most of the Form 35A given to some agents at the polling center were pre-filled by the election officials before being distributed to the respective polling centers. This is confirmed by the fact that there are glaring similarities of the handwritings in this Form 35A, which we were able to lump together. This was
Now, over 70 political leaders comprising governors, senators, MPs, and speakers of county assemblies from 14 pastoralist counties have resolved to form a new political party for the 2017 elections. The leaders say this is the only way to fight marginalization, which they say has been entrenched by all post-colonial administrations. Murimi Mwangi reports.
For a zone dogged with countless economic challenges and notorious for the high cases of banditry and cattle rustling, the feeling of marginalization from the national government may not be far-fetched. But with barely 17 months to the August 2017 general election, over 70 elected leaders from 17 northern Kenya pastoral communities have set in motion a new political cause for the region, with plans to form a political party to sponsor a candidate for all elective posts, including the presidency.
The members agreed after lengthy deliberation that it is necessary to secure an independent platform for advancing the common political and socio-economic interests of our communities and aspirations of the pastoralist people in Kenya.
But this new political strategy for the region, which was announced at the closure of the 2016 Pastoralist Leadership Summit, is no doubt likely to cause an uproar in the ruling Jubilee coalition, as the entire upper eastern and northern Kenya region is considered a Jubilee stronghold, in addition to producing the National Assembly Majority Leader Aden Duale, who has been extremely vocal in promoting the soon-to-be launched Jubilee Party.
A comprehensive national livestock marketing plan be initiated, and the President directed that immediate creation of an independent livestock marketing board to lead and handle the issue of livestock marketing in the country.
Our community, our people, our region, we will not complain again of marginalization. We will take part in national building. We will fight for every space in this country, whether it's education, whether it is business.
The leaders feel that such issues as the creation of market for livestock products and creation of more jobs for the residents have not been adequately addressed by all post-colonial governments, hence the need for a local political party to spearhead the arid region's development agenda. Muremi Mwangi, KTN News, Nairobi.
Leader of majority in the National Assembly, Aden Duale, is challenging residents of the northeastern region to take advantage of funds availed by the government to implement development projects. Duale, who is also the Garissa Township Member of Parliament, says Garissa, Mandera and Wajir counties, which have for long been marginalized, now control at least 20 billion shillings in a single financial year. He was speaking at the Garissa University College.
Kenya is moving Northeastern is moving, we are going, and nobody can stop us. We must have a lot of our students from Northeastern in the Kenyan universities. We must have a lot of the students from Northeastern in key positions in government and private sector. Our community, our people, our region. We will not complain again of marginalization. We will take part in national building. We will fight for every space in this country, whether it's education, whether it is business.
Kenyans still feel that corruption is the top most urgent issue before the Jubilee administration. The other issues they have cited are the high cost of living and unemployment. The latest research results by Infotrack say that 41% of Kenyans want corruption addressed urgently. 47% of Kenyans also say they are living the worst possible life ever, and 43% are unsure that this year will turn out to be a better year than 2015.
44% say, when we ask them, if we look at Kenya today, what direction would you say the country is taking? And 44% of Kenyans feel that the country is going in the right direction. 3% of Kenyans don't know what direction the country is taking, but we still have majority, 53%, saying that they feel that the country is still going in the wrong direction. Now, where do people feel, which regions feel the country is going in the right direction? Where are people happy with the way things are going? 3 places where people are quite happy with the direction the country is taking: Rift Valley, Central, and Northeastern. The rest of the 5 regions are not enthused with the direction the country is taking. So Nyanza has the highest level of dissatisfaction at 68%. We also have Nairobi with 58% of citizens feeling that the country is not going in the right direction. We see the coast with 58% saying the country is not going in the right direction. And we also see Western and Eastern in that whole realm where people feel that things need to improve. The country can do certainly better. What tends to happen is we are still in that mentality of my man must rule. I'm hungry, I'm suffering, I can see that I have no optimism, tomorrow doesn't look like it's going to work, but if my guy is from tribe X, that's the guy I'm going to go with. How will that change? I think the game changer will be if we get a party or a candidate who can synthesize those issues and make you and I understand that, listen, what matters the most is that you do have a good condition of life, your children are able to have good schooling, security, and have, happiness. Generally, they live well. Your parents have social welfare. And the person who can deliver that is more important than the person from your bloody tribe.
We take a short break now here on Weekend at 1. Don't go too far. I'll be back with more news. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Weekend at 1. Now, close to 3,000 border operators held a peaceful procession in Kajiado town calling for peace ahead of the 2017 elections. The riders called for cohesion in the country, urging all their fellow riders elsewhere and small traders countrywide to avoid being misused by politicians. After marching through the town, the riders gathered at Kitengela grounds for prayers for the country. The sermon was led by Reverend Mohammed Kamwaro of Kitengela Deliverance Church.
Hata sisi wanabodaboda wote tumeunganika na tumekuwa kitu kimoja. Tumependana, hatuna ukabila hapa Kitengela, tumependana kupendana. Na hivyo ndio tumekataa hata kugonganishwa na wengine wanasiasa ambao wanaweza kuwa wanatumiwa vibaya.
Tumekuja kuomba kwa sababu ya Kenya, kwamba tunaona Kenya tumegawanyika kisiasa, tumegawanywa na wanasiasa, tumegawanyika kichama, hata makanisani kuna chama cha ukabila, kwamba watu wanapofanya harusi ni kabila fulani, ikiwa ndio unafanya harusi hiyo kabila ndio inaonekana. Ikiwa ni kwamba mikutano za nje wanakuwa na mikutano zao wanaikuwa ni makabila. Tunaomba Kenya tusigawanyishwe na wanasiasa.
And now we want to cross over live to the RFUEA grounds here in Nairobi, where our sports reporter Robinson Okenya is standing by with the latest on the Kenya Women's Rugby League that is taking place there. Robinson, what is the latest from the grounds?
Very good afternoon to you, Sharon Momanyi. As you've mentioned, we are live at the Kenya Rugby Union grounds, where the Women's League is currently going on. Probably to bring you up to speed of what has happened here today. KCB, who are the defending champions, had a 25-0 win over Nakuru. And if probably to give you some information about KCB, they are the defending champions of this competition, and the competition started in 2015, and this is 2016 now. This is the second year that the Kenya Rugby Women's League is in running. Apart from that, you also, the Kenya National Women's Sevens team, you know, we all know that it will be going to take part in the Rio Olympics, and rugby is the only sport that we have that will be taking part in as a team, the team sport that will be taking part in the Rio Olympics. They are in the next 2 weeks. They'll be in Tokyo for the Tokyo Invitational Challenge, where they'll be playing, you know, measuring themselves against teams from other countries. There are also some of the players are here. We'll be talking to them later on, later during the KTN News. That's the Scoreline program, getting to know more, you know, how their preparations are going on and what we should expect from them during the Olympics. Apart from that, some of the scores that we have had from the games that have gone on, it's Nakuru had a 45-0 win over USIU, and Mwamba had a 26-0 win over Shamas. So it's actually an entertaining afternoon that we are having here, you know, getting to watch women's rugby, which is not, you know, it's not popular in the country, but this, you know, with such events, we are going to see more development in women's rugby. Sharon, I'd like to let the viewer know that at 2 p.m. you can join us on KTN News, that's Scoreline, where we'll be having more, you know, we'll be talking more about women's rugby in the country, its development and where it's headed. Back to you, Sharon.
Right. Thank you very much, Robinson Okenya there, our sports reporter, giving us the highlights of the women's rugby taking place at the RFUEA grounds. And as he mentioned, he shall be bringing more details during the program Scoreline at 2 p.m. And that is where we wrap up today's edition of Weekend at 1. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sharon Momanyi. Good afternoon.